Welcome back to another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be getting this 93 Honda Shadow 600 ready to be sold. I've had this bike for a long time. I've got a lot of really good memories on this bike. I've met a lot of people through this bike, and I think it's time to find a new owner for it so they can enjoy some of the fond memories and have some fun on the bike too. Here's a little overview of the beast. I've got a small kind of laundry list of things I want to get done. Painting the rear fender. There's a couple on either side of the frame, kind of where the hardtail is. There's some loose frame pieces right there, that hole right there. So what we're going to do is slice that down, cap off that hole, and then clean up the welds. There's the rear end, and then on this side we're going to do the same thing, but we also have an exhaust mount to mount right there. There's a missing exhaust mount that broke off a couple years ago at Born Free 13. So we're going to fix that. We're not going to do anything up there. There's the old motor, dual carb setup, Sportster peanut gas tank, king and queen seat, Firestone tires. The thing's beautiful. All right, so let's get into it. This was definitely a bad idea to start out with, greasing the chain, because this just got grease fucking everywhere for the rest of the duration while I was working on the bike. But hey, check something off the list. So in order to get the fender properly painted, we're going to take the fender off, and then that'll also give us good access to the frame pieces that need to be cleaned up and welded together and all that. Basically cut, capped, welded, grinded, all that fun stuff. So yeah, taking everything apart. Here's a little better look kind of how everything's mounted. These Shadow 600s are a dual coil setup, so there's actually 2 coils and 4 spark plugs and 2 carburetors on this thing. So it's got a lot of shit, for lack of a better term. But they run really good. They're super freaking reliable. These bikes are tough. Okay, anyway, getting right into it. Here is the exhaust mount. I think this is pretty much the only footage I have of fabbing it up, and it's just gonna magically, there it is. It's going on right there, right where I'm kind of in there grinding out. There's my beautiful Pixie. And here we are kind of trying to get the angle of the pipe to match the angle of the frame. I used like a digital angle finder to do that. And then wham bam, thank you ma'am, the magic of editing. There it is. The welding ground right there was clipped onto the exhaust mount, and now I am grinding that down a little bit, making it just a little smoother. So there's the exhaust mount. You can barely see it in there. Next, what we're gonna do is fill the hole and then slice this thing down. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now we're filling the hole on the back side, and then we're gonna cut the thing down and then cap it off. And it inadvertently, I didn't realize cutting it down, I was cutting off the brake switch mount. So we're gonna have to remount the brake switch, but that's not a big deal. There we go. Okay, fast forwarded quite a bit. You can see the exhaust tab hanging down. You can see the cut and the cap are already done. And the only thing left to do is mount this little brake switch, which needs to go right about there. And yeah, pretty precision work here. Gosh, I'm really trying not to block all of these shots, but yeah, there it is. Throwing up a tack on that brake switch mount, and that pretty much finishes up this side of the bike. So we're gonna rinse and repeat over here. The driveline side of this bike needed a lot less work, just a cut and a cap. There we go. It's cut, it's capped. Now we're just grinding it all down. It's kind of a funny shot. I sort of look like 50 Cent at the Super Bowl. Yeah, there we go. So anyone that's done like a Honda Shadow hardtail kind of knows what I'm talking about. These little weird frame pieces that get kind of left behind. Sort of like an afterthought. But yeah, here we go. Everything's done. We got the brake switch getting painted, caps getting painted, exhaust mount getting painted. We're gonna do the same thing on this side after giving Pixie a little bit of love. And then I think we're moving on to the fender. Fender's off, the paint cans are out. Here we go, look at that. Beautiful gloss black being laid down in that hot sun. It was like 95 degrees today. Okay, paint's dry. Pipes are back on. The welds have cooled. And we're just putting it all back together here. Pretty simple stuff. Did a little wire management on that brake light wire. And we're marrying the seat back to the rear fender. And tightening it all up. I was so proud when I built this bike and I put a hinged seat on it. I was so proud of that. Okay, that's pretty much all the fab work needed to be done. And yeah, here we go, jumping right into starting this thing up. I was impressed how easily this thing started up on like a questionable battery, old gas. Yeah, and here it is, running, fired right up. I did realize that it needed a thorough carb clean. So here we go. One of the float needles was stuck, had a little bit of old gasoline gummy shit all over it, and so it was the rear cylinder was not getting full gas. So between that and then a new carburetor boots for the bike, this thing just started to scream and sound really good. So here we go, final assembly here. Carburetor's all cleaned out. We got that float needle moving up and down again as it should. We got the new carburetor boots in there. Thank you, Pedro and Betty's Big Revival, for the suggestion for the carb boots. They're super cheap on Amazon. It's like $10 for a set, and they fit great. They work really well, and they're really squishy, so it's easy to get the carburetor on compared to the old stiff boots. And with that, we should be getting close to starting it up and hearing it idle properly. Here we go. Yeah, so these things have like a nice, when they're straight piped and you strip all the stuff off of pretty much everything, they have a nice like throaty, meaty kind of sound to them. And yeah, I guess all that's left to do, test the lights here, make sure the electrical's all on and looks good. We're gonna do a little brake light test here. Pew, pew. There we go. I think we're just gonna saddle up and give this thing a nice little test ride. So I'm gonna stop talking now and let you guys enjoy the rest of it. Thanks for tuning in. If you've made it this far, I would really appreciate a subscribe. If you feel so inclined, thank you. Drop a comment if you want, or leave a like. It's all good. I love it all. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. All right. See ya. Peace.